What's going on, everybody? This is Harshman with Wholesale to Freedom. For those who don't know what this channel is about, it's all about wholesaling real estate in general, business, entrepreneurship, and some motivational stuff, along with just following my journey. And recently I closed a $63,000 deal. If you want to learn how exactly I did that, we're going to go over it step by step today in this video. So please stay tuned till the end so you get all the steps, the in-depth breakdown of how you can do this absolutely free, just like I did. And I did it completely virtual, which means it's in another state, and I never saw the property, the buyer, the seller, the title company, any of that. I just got wired the money at the end, and we were able to get this deal closed. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Be sure to smash that thumbs up so that way we can help the YouTube algorithm, and also to subscribe, click that notification bell. That way you get notified at any time I post videos just like this one. Let's dive straight in. So what had happened was I was researching a property that we had text blasted, and what it was is a plot of land that you're actually looking at right now. This is the exact property I was looking at, and behind it you can kind of notice that there's this building here, and it looked like a huge building, right? And I was like, man, that looks interesting. So after researching this one, I found it wasn't a deal, so I just scrolled on over. I just kind of piqued my interest, right? It's an old building. You can tell it's an apartment complex, and it's completely vacant. So if we scroll a little bit further, you can kind of see it goes way back in there. So this seems like the perfect kind of deal for a wholesale deal. And what I'm using right now is a website called Instant Street View. For those who don't know, it's absolutely free. But this is essentially driving for dollars virtually, so completely virtual in my state that I do wholesaling in. I'm not even close to the state. I think it's like 12-13 hour drive, but I'm doing it all in Instant Street View, and I'm able to do all that for free. So you can go driving through neighborhoods like physically in your own backyard if you want to, or you can actually go in Instant Street View and do it absolutely free, completely virtual, or even have a VA do this, right? So there's so many different options you have. So after I looked at this property, I was able to find the address, and once I found the address, I matched it up with the county assessor's page just to make sure I had the right address, and I found that this property was owned by an investor because this property was owned by an LLC. So a lot of people at this point were like, all right, I can't do anything because it's owned by an LLC. Probably an investor. They're not going to be a good wholesale deal, so I'm just not going to deal with it. Wrong. That's where people miss out. Like I said, this was a $63,000 deal, and the guy knew that I was wholesaling it. Yeah, he actually knew I was wholesaling it and still let me do it. How was I able to do that? Well, first off, you got to find the person, right? So we know it's owned by an LLC, and we can't skip trace anything, even if we're doing it the paid way using a platform. We still have to know the person's first and last name to try to find their phone number. So whenever you have a LLC, then you have to do it one step further and go to opencorporates.com. And what this is you can search any LLC in the country, and it'll bring you up like the person who owns it, who's their agent, so anybody who's designated to be their point of communication as far as like direct mail, things like that. But more importantly, who owns it. So let's just type in a fake LLC. So USA. Just type in a fake LLC. So like USA Home Buyers LLC. I don't know if there's actually a Express Home Buyers. Perfect. So I actually know who owns this. This is a multi-million-dollar wholesaling company a month. It's a very great company. So we can see that Sean O'Connell and these people are the directors and officers. The agent's name is not who we're going to want to look at because this could be somebody that they hired out. So this is actually a hired out company that's not going to help us, but what we're looking at is this person's name. So we have two people here that are associated with this company, and so what we would try to do at this point is we would try to skip trace this person using the address provided for the address we found through the Instant Street View, matching it up with this person's first and last name. Or you can even go to truepeoplesearch.com and simply do a reverse address. So let's just do 123 Main Street, 123 Main Street, and let's just see what happened. Virginia. All right, so I'm not going to go into like finding this particular person because this is a company that probably owns multiple properties, but the whole purpose is showing you exactly how I found this person's information. So I found who the agent was, looked them up on True People Search via the reverse address of that property, or you can type in their name. So let's just type in their name. For example, we'll do Alan Judson, Springfield, Virginia. And so we got a bunch of Alan Judsons here. So we got a Alan M. Judson. So from here you can see we got a bunch of Alan Judsons. We can go into their details. There's already phone numbers here that you can look up, call them, ask them, hey, we're looking at this property that we drove by and it looks like something that would be a good fit for us. Is that something you'd be interested in selling? And then once you get that confirmation, just say, hey, great. And then you go through your whole spiel of, we buy houses. And if there is somebody who knows like what wholesaling is, so for example, this person, I said, hey, what do you want for the property? He said $300,000, and I said, well, let me see if I can get that approved for you by my manager, and we'll see what happens. And he said, okay, come back to me with an offer. And so I offered him, he said, well, I can't take a penny less than $300,000. So $300,000 is what we agreed upon. He said, listen, I know you're not going to be the ones buying it. I know you're going to be wholesaling this property. I don't care because I want to get rid of it, but I need to have a $5,000 non-refundable deposit. Again, most people at this point would just say, oh, we can't do that, goodbye. Well, I said, listen, you've been sitting on this thing for a long time. Why don't you just see if we can move this thing, and there's no risk to you, and we can get this thing closed. He said, well, you can have 21 days. You don't have to give me a deposit, anything, and you have my word that if you can get it sold, we'll get it sold. So within 7 days, I found a buyer. I marketed the property through my email list. I also have several buyers that I've worked with before, one of which actually ended up buying this property. But I also put it out there on like Craigslist and things like that. I already have a video on how to find buyers. You just do the same thing, rinse, repeat. And from there, this property was very easy to show because it was vacant. Nobody's been in there, and they could just walk in. And so that's exactly what we did. And we found this buyer who was willing to take this on. We came to an agreement price of $375,000. I go back to the seller, say, hey, listen, we're ready to close, but we need 45 to 60 days to close this thing. He said, whoa, wait a minute. He said, I gave you 21 days no deposit. If you're going to draw this out for 60 days, then I need to have more money. I said, well, what do you have in mind? He said, make me an offer. So I said, how about we give you $2,500 for 30 days or $5,000 for 60? And he said, okay. And I got a non-refundable deposit from my buyer of $5,000 like he wanted. And I ended up giving him $305 for the property in total. And my buyer and I agreed upon $375. So we got $370 as a wholesale fee. But I ended up paying a partner of mine who was down there. I JV with him a lot. And I gave him 10% of the wholesale because he went out there, took pictures, videos for me and everything. And he even showed his own buyers who we had as a backup offer just in case. I didn't want to feel like I was using him to get the photos and stuff because I wasn't, and he was been a really good asset to our team as far as getting deals closed in the past. So I wanted to reward him for his efforts even if we didn't go with his buyer. So we agreed upon 10% as a fair deal for his time. And so that's how I ended up with $63,000 as my wholesale fee in the end, total net profit. And so it was a really good day. Again, those steps that I went through to find this deal, I found it on Instant Street View, virtually driving for dollars. And on top of that, I went to opencorporates.com so that way I could find the LLC owner, Skiptrace them on truepeoplesearch.com, all these platforms, which are free, by the way. Again, I have them posted in the link in the description below so you can check those out. And also, we went ahead and called them. I don't recommend texting when you can, but I would immediately cold call them. And you're going to go through so there's a process here. You might go through several numbers that are not the correct person, but you might find their relatives, things like that. So just ask around and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to find the owner of this property. Can you help me? When you put it like that, then you actually have them in a way that they want to help you find the right person, and it works out. So just remember that. And you can do all these things for free, like I mentioned. You don't have to have some crazy program, anything like that. You just go to the websites and look up these things. So this was a in-depth tutorial of how I found this deal, and you can do the same thing, right? And don't spend too much time on trying to find one person. If you go through, like, let's say 20-30 minutes trying to find the right person, you don't find them, maybe put it down in a note somewhere on your CRM. If you don't know how to build one, I have a video that shows you exactly how to build that for free. And what that is where you can keep track of all the leads that you come across. And so I have a video on that. I'll put that in the description as well. But you want to have that in your mind, or somewhere down the road, so you can spend a little bit more time on it when you have free time. But you want to just like go through virtual driving for dollars, get a list of properties, and then do this step by step for it. And once you get like 10 to 20 properties, maybe go through the True People search, trying to find the owners, contact them. Or you can save yourself some time and use a paid service to skip trace them, right? Or you can pull a list from PropStream and then do the virtual driving for dollars of that list. Either way, you're set to go. So don't spend too much time on it. Remember, keep it simple, stupid, the KISS principle, and you'll be fine. So I hope this video provided a lot of value to you. I've got a lot of compliments on my other videos, so if you like to see more stuff like this, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.